So hello and welcome to the LSCDS Coffee Break Spotlight. I'm Sophia, and I'm here with one of our alumni, Anne Meyer-Miner. Anne recently graduated with her PhD from the Molecular Genetics program at U of T and was one of our co-team leads for ITCS at LSCDS. Anne continues to stay involved in U of T through working with the Graduate Career Consortium, and she now works as a scientific advisor at Stem Cell Technologies. Thanks so much, Anne, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So I just mentioned that you work with Stem Cell Technologies as a scientific advisor. Could you tell us a bit more about your role with that company?
Yeah, definitely. I just started about a month ago. And so, yeah, my official title is a scientific recruiter. So I basically work on the HR team with talent acquisition. And I work, I sort of have two parts to my role. So one is working with the hiring managers in the company, mainly with the R&D departments. And so I talk with them about, positions that they want to hire for and sort of what their ideal candidate would be and kind of looking at, what they need in their role. And then I also work on the other side with the candidates. So once the job application goes live, I sort of work through the candidate applications, screen them, and then see, who will move on to an interview stage, and then sort of help them and support them through like the interviewing and offer process as it, gets to the later interview stages. So I work to basically try and find good people that'll come to Stem Cell and, create a more collaborative and creative and innovative environment. And then I've been doing some outreach as well through, talking to different people at universities and stuff to try and get people interested in Stem Cell.
That's really interesting. So was there any point in your your graduate degree where you kind of thought that this is the career path you wanted to take? Like, was there kind of a pivotal moment or event as a trainee that led you towards becoming a recruiter?
Yeah, a lot of my PhD, I was very active in different activities, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do besides not be a professor or work in the lab anymore. So I tried a lot of different activities and, networking out just to kind of see what was out there, but nothing really clicked. And then, so I had been working with the LSCDS for a few years, and I realized that what I actually really loved about that part of the work was the sort of interacting with the graduate students and helping them with their professional development and finding sort of experiences off the bench that could help them find different roles that were non-academic, so either in industry or somewhere else. So I realized that, after some reflection, that's actually what I really liked. So I started looking for jobs that would maybe fit into that kind of profile. And I mostly was finding jobs sort of at the university level as administrators or program coordinators. But then I started looking and thinking about sort of the other side of that is, the people who would be hiring these students. And so that's sort of how I found Stem Cell. And I guess I just really clicked with them in terms of, they're very people-centered in their hiring approach, and they're also very dedicated to hiring scientists, even in non-lab lab work roles, but just in other roles as well. And so I thought I could really, kind of use my expertise from like LSCDS and working with grad students, sort of in a more industry-focused field, outside of academia.
That's really great. I'm kind of the same way, I find like LSCDS is really opening up like my eyes to a bunch of different roles. So It's great to hear that someone's kind of in the same.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I guess along those paths then, so what was your favorite or your most impactful LSCDS event that you participated in as a trainee?
Well, actually, before becoming a co-lead for the ITCS program, I actually was a trainee for the ITCS program. So I did a project and worked with a medical science liaison. And it was a very cool project, and I really enjoyed parts of it, but it also kind of showed me that that's not actually what I wanted to, continue pursuing, which was very valuable information. But I think it actually was really meaningful to like have that hands-on experience and know that I didn't actually fit in with this role, even though I thought maybe I would. And so that was actually really beneficial.
Yeah, that sounds great. It's like dipping your toes into different things to kind of figure out what fits well and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was wondering, like, if you could offer any advice you'd give to yourself looking back at your time in grad school.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely involved with a lot of activities. So I definitely encourage people to be, involved with different activities. And I think I was involved with a variety as well, which was good. But what I realized sort of at the end was I wasn't really sort of reflecting in the moment on like, is this something I actually want to do? Or am I just sort of kind of doing things for the resume or, just to get experience in it? It wasn't really very reflective or strategic. And I think if I could spend, advise myself back then, it'd be to spend a little more time being like, what do you actually like? Which skills are you actually trying to improve on by doing this at certain, activity, and make it a bit more focused, I guess.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess along the advice line then, and kind of more linking into what you do now as a recruiter, I guess, do you have any advice for trainees on how to make the most of virtual events, or how to make kind of an impression on a Zoom interview or a Zoom meeting kind of thing? Because that's relevant right now.
No, it is definitely tricky. And I found that, I definitely encourage people to go to networking events. I found I mostly use them as sort of information gathering of like the types of jobs out there and the types of roles. So to then, look up after. But I also find if you're able to get involved with events, that's actually sometimes a better way to network, because you're helping someone else and you're also building skills while also connecting with people. And so I think that sometimes is a bit more beneficial and meaningful if you're able to more get involved with things as opposed to just go to networking events. So networking events are definitely beneficial. I also encourage like informational interviews. So if you hear someone or talk to someone at a networking event, you don't really get much face time and it's kind of awkward. But, if someone really connected with you, definitely follow up and just ask, can I learn more about your role? What you do day to day, just that kind of information. When you build that connection with them sort of after the fact, but also you can just learn more about, what they actually do in their role, and, might be helpful later on when you're trying to find something.
That's great. That's really good advice. So I guess in those like informational interviews, or I guess online interviews, what as a recruiter would you kind of suggest that more people need to do or like work on?
Yeah, I think, for an informational interview, I'd say, make sure you have some questions and, are engaged and kind of have some, more than just generic, what do you do, but some specific things that you're maybe interested in, or paths that you're kind of interested in. Or if you kind of, see maybe they worked for a certain company and you want to know more about that, kind of just more specifics. I think that's very helpful. For an informational interview, or for even, a regular interview, just kind of being clear on sort of your motivations for different choices. So not that, maybe you went to grad school and now you don't want to, be a lab scientist. That's totally fine, and people completely understand that. But having sort of a clear story of like how you changed your mind and, that kind of stuff to kind of make your story more personable and relatable, but also that, it doesn't look like you're just kind of wandering around, but you actually are like, oh, I did this thing and I didn't actually like it, but now I've taken these skills and I'm trying something else. Kind of be clear. And I think that, makes it seem like you thought about, what you're doing.
Exactly, not like you're just like flip-flopping between.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. I think we're almost out of time here, so that's really great. Thank you so much for all your time and your valuable insights to, your time here at LSCDS and what you've taken from it and from grad school, and the advice you've given for trainees to move forward with that. I really appreciate your time for participating with the coffee break spotlights.
Yeah, no problem at all. Happy to help.
Thanks.